One of the basic exercises in Pilates is the 100. And this is where we have our legs in the 100 position, or as I call it, the coffee table position. And we would line our back, and as usual, we'd find our neutral pelvis. And you hopefully know how to find that by now, but you can always go into the butterfly position and check on your alignment. And the 100 can be done with either just one or both legs at coffee table. And the basic position would be one leg at coffee table, knee directly above the hip bone, and it's like your ankle is resting on a coffee table. And when I did that, when I floated that leg up, there was no change through my lumbar spine. There was no doming of my tummy, and of course, no discomfort through my lumbar spine. So you want to just try to think of that knee almost just floating up as if it's being lifted by balloons to lift just above your hip bone. So using as little effort as possible. You're only using what is required. You don't use your global abs if you can avoid it, being your love handle and six-pack muscles, your external obliques and your rectus abdominis, and your corset muscles, of course, are engaged all through the exercise. So the basic level of the 100, one leg at coffee table. Now if I wanted to make this a little bit harder, I would have a further away coffee table, so that's a little bit harder. Obviously, if I held it here for longer, it would be harder. When I am up in this position, what I want to focus on is my breath. I want to be breathing into the base of the ribcage and breathing out. Nice and slowly, nice and controlled. Now, if you did 10 breaths whilst you were holding it in the 100 position, and each breath was 5 seconds in, 5 seconds out, it's 100 seconds, which is where the exercise gets its name. Again, we could have one leg at coffee table, and if the leg is further away, again it is harder. If it's further away again, it's harder again. And if it's closer to the floor as well, it's even harder. Now, all of these variations I just showed you are equally applicable when you have the second leg at coffee table. The only difference is the legs don't actually have to be symmetrical. So both of them are symmetrical at the moment, both knees above my hip bones. Both of them are still symmetrical in that further away coffee table, and both of them are still symmetrical as they move further away. But I might have one further away than the other. I'm going to work through one sling of obliques more than the other. Now in this position, I'm not doing anything with my arms. By the way, I'm going to have a little rest. I could, of course, be doing other exercises, such as my double arm circles, or I could be doing my double arm rotations, the one where you focus on your rotator cuff muscles as you rotate this bone inside the hip joint. But in the 100 position, generally, if you're not doing either of those exercises, you can just use your hands to help check that you're not over-engaging through your globals, and you can also check how much you are engaged through them. You can also check that your alignment's staying the same. And one of the things that you can also do is just focus on them being relaxed, because generally when I'm doing something such as my double arm rotations, well, you keep relaxed through the arms and the shoulders, whereas suddenly when you're not actually using them, you're much more likely to push into the floor or tense your upper body. And I don't want you really doing that. So once again, a little round the clock stretch. That's the exercise called the 100. It's very, very straightforward. I don't tend to do it as much in my classes, and that's not because it's not a great exercise. It's simply because I generally will do other things such as my double arm circles at the same time, and it's just a time efficiency thing. But if you can stay relaxed through your arms and your shoulders, then feel free to use those hands to check on your alignment, check that you're not over engaging through those global abdominal muscles, and it is an excellent exercise.